Well, welcome everybody to the Tiesto Q&A here at ADE. My name is Hardwell. I will ask Tiesto today the questions. We're going to start with a couple of questions I prepared for Thijs today, and later on we do just a Q&A with you guys if you have any questions for Thijs later on. First of all, just some facts. I'm not going to talk about your history because I guess everybody knows who you are and what you did in your past. Mixed Mac named you the greatest DJ of all time. I think you're one of the DJs that was the first DJ who actually broke through worldwide out of Holland. You were named 3 times #1 in the DJ Mag. So far your history, I'm not going to talk about your history anymore. 2014, what's next with Tiesto?
I already had an amazing run, I think, been around for a long time. And very glad still so many people like my music, and very grateful for that, of course. And the plan for 2014 is to come up with a new album. I haven't made an album in a long time. The last one was in 2009. So a lot of mixed compilations with a lot of my own tracks on there as well. But a real artist album is always something special and different. And I'm in the final stages right now of that, so that's my main focus.
Okay, are you aiming for the same direction with your new album? Like Kaleidoscope was totally different than the other albums. Are you aiming for the same direction as Kaleidoscope, or again something different?
Again, something different, but I think I had so much experience with DJing all over the world that I'm so influenced by everything. I'm influenced by the old trance sound that I had in me and the new generation top DJs like yourself. I get influenced by everybody I meet and surround myself with. So it's always changing and evolving.
Okay, cool. Next question. You're actually the first DJ ever who branded himself with a logo. He was the first DJ who actually put himself in an artist's place instead of like being a DJ. Why did you do that, and how did it evolve? How did it evolve that your career?
Well, in my whole career, I always met people spontaneously, either on the street or in a club, and everything happened spontaneously. So I never chose to make a logo. There was this one guy who was a huge fan of Holland. His name is Patrick Moeland. He was like, I love your music, and I'm a graphic designer. I made this bird logo for you. And it was a present, and it stuck forever.
That's a good one. Well, talking about social media, I think everybody here agrees that social media is actually the biggest thing nowadays for DJs and the whole business. You're having over 15 million Facebook likes, over 2 million on Twitter. How are you involved with your social media, and how important do you think it is nowadays?
It's the most important thing nowadays. I mean, the whole world's online, so it's an amazing thing. I mean, I'm a Twitter addict. I mean, the last couple of days I've been slacking on Twitter because I was too busy, but I love tweeting. It's so nice to have interaction with people, and they're so grateful about everything if you tweet them back or retweet them, and I think it's really nice.
Okay, now how are you involved with that? Are you doing it yourself most of the time, or just?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, of course, my management post tweets as well sometimes, but you can only see the difference because they will post something about the track or something in an event or streaming. But whenever I answer to people, it's always myself. And also on Instagram and on Facebook, it's always myself. And I think that's the way it should be, because it's your personal life, and people want to know about your personal life on the road.
Next question. You chose to be in Las Vegas for the summer. We all know that Vegas is super booming nowadays. Why did you choose to sign a residency in Vegas? And it's actually the first year, I guess, in 20 years that you haven't played or didn't have a residency on Ibiza. Why did you make that choice? And how was it to be in Vegas the whole summer?
Yeah, it was an amazing summer. For the first time in so many years. America, it blew up. Dance music is huge there now, so I thought it was a perfect timing. And Las Vegas is kind of the center of America. Everybody comes to Vegas in the summer for a couple of days to party. And I noticed a big difference between Ibiza and Las Vegas nowadays. I love Ibiza, and it's still a great island. But I think the government and the people they are trying to make it more like Saint-Tropez. So with more destination for rich people and yachts and VIP. And the real dance clubbers, they get kind of disappointed. And I think Las Vegas is very easy to reach now, and it's very cheap. Hotels are cheap, and so it's a better party experience for the real clubbers, I think. And the clubs are always innovating. The newest techniques are in the clubs. And if you go to Ibiza, the clubs look the same as 20 years ago, with all due respect. And I think that was the biggest reason why I left.
Okay, we're all here for a reason nowadays. Today in Amsterdam, where as Dutchies, we're actually the capital of dance music in the whole world. How do you think, as you're like the DJ with the most experience, especially as a Dutch DJ, how do you think the Dutch scene evolved in the last 2 decades, and what do you think is the biggest difference, like 20 years ago, if you compare it to now?
Yeah, it's a huge difference. I mean, the Dutch took definitely over from the English, I must say, because the English DJs were in the 90s the most influential around the world, and everybody looked at what happened in England and what the English DJs could play. And of course, there's still a lot of influence from England, like Mr. P. Tong and his radio show and stuff. But I think the Dutch they really developed their sound and their style, and very diverse. We have famous Dutch DJs in every genre, so not just electro or house, in trance, in techno, in deep house. We have professionals in every scene, and I think we take our music very serious, and we're all very passionate about it, and that's the basic. And the Dutch crowd is very hard to play for, because they're very hard to please, because they're they're a little bit jaded, because they've seen everything, they've seen every big DJ in the world play here for many years. Dance music has been huge since the 90s. We had support from radio and television, and that altogether made us always try to step up the game.
You yourself, you started as a trance DJ. Nowadays you're playing basically house music with all the subgenres included. Why did you actually did make that transition? And how do you, if you look back at that, are you happy with the transition that you made?
First of all, I'm really happy with it, because I think the basic for a DJ is you have to play what you're passionate about, and you have to have the love for the music you play. It's not an act, it's like you got to feel the music. And for years before I became a trance DJ, I was really into all kinds of music, all kinds of dance music, like beginning of the 90s. Then I discovered trance music thanks to DJ Sven Blade from Germany. And I was just in love with the trance music for years, until late 2007. And then I felt a little bit like it started to sound all the same, and I didn't feel the same passion for it anymore. And then I went on a holiday to Los Angeles, and I heard mashup DJs playing all kinds of stuff again. I was like, I want to go back to this, I want to play anything I want, basically, and not just be stick to one genre, but just to trance music. And I felt more passionate about mashups and house tracks, and I started to discover new DJs, and I was like, this is the music I want to play now. And I took the risk. I just made a Kaleidoscope, which was a very experimental album for me to work with ADE artists. And I wanted to develop that style, and instead of going the easy way and stick to trance and be famous forever, I took a risk, and I'm really happy with the result, because of course there's still people like always, please come back to trance and stuff, but I think it was a great period, and I want to stick to it what it was. And now the new Tiesto is here, 2013, I'm still around and relevant, and I think that's for me the biggest achievement, that I changed myself, innovated myself, and still do a good job, I think so.
Well, there are a lot of DJs and producers nowadays. A lot of DJs are starting to produce records, but there's a lot of producers who become a DJ out of nowhere because they make a major hit. What is your opinion about how the scene is growing right now? What do you think is more relevant, to be a DJ in the first place or be a producer in the first place? And what's the biggest difference between a DJ and a producer?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because it's a huge difference between a producer and a DJ. And I think it's a pity sometimes that the most famous DJs in the world are actually not really DJs, but are producers. And you hear some of them and they play the same set every night. It becomes more like a showcase of what they have made in the studio. And I think real DJs, they can always adjust to the audience. They can play longer, shorter. A lot of producers they can only play 90 minutes or 2 hours because yeah, it's different. I think I mean, of course, you have to be you become famous because you make hits, but it's also important that you learn how to DJ. And I think the Dutch DJs are a good example of. We grew up in DJing, like yourself, DJing since you were 14. I think that's a huge step, a huge advance to everybody else. That you're a DJ first. Actually, you're both first. And that's the strongest combination you can have. You have to have both. And I think a lot of producers nowadays, when they go on stage, they underestimate that it's important that you DJ and not just play your own records and be like, hey, goodbye.
Well, you're running your own label, like everybody knows, Musical Freedom. Why did you start Musical Freedom, and what does a track need to be signed on Musical Freedom? And yeah, which artists are you pushing now at this moment?
Well, the title of my label already says it. I used to be with Black Hole Recordings, and I was part owner of that, and it was basically a trance label. And in 2007, when I was like, I want to change, I want to do something different. Some people I worked with were not so ready for the change, and so I decided to split up and move away from the trance music and call my label Musical Freedom, because I think that's what I want. I want musical freedom to play and to release whatever I want. And that's how it started. And then I always try to look for tracks which don't have to be completely innovative or new, but there has to be something in there that's special. That either the vocal or a special sound or a special drop. Something has to be in there that hasn't been done before.
Okay. Well, there's a whole new generation of DJs, I think, including me.
Including you.
Yeah, it's like the godfather of DJs. How is the new generation from production side as DJs as well inspiring you in your career? And do we actually inspire you?
It's a huge inspiration. I mean, for example, I saw your documentary yesterday, and it was taking me back to my youth when I started. And I think to hang out with you and with talented DJs like Martin Garrix and stuff, it's really inspirational for me, and it keeps me young in a way, and it's very inspiring because the energy you have on stage and in the studio, it's really something else. And I think the new kids have their own perspective on dance music, and they make their own way, and it's very inspirational.
Okay. Well, so far that were my questions. I want to open up the Q&A, so if anybody got a question, just raise your hand.
Hi, Carl from DJ Mag. I want to ask Tice, you've been quite a mentor to Mr. Hardwell next to you there. Why is it important for you to help bring through new young DJ producers?
Well, it's important, but it's for me a natural process because I get so much out of that, so much inspiration and so much love and friendship. It's like it's like it's just that's the most important for me. Not even to sign them to my label or to sign the management contracts.